Welcome back to Focus on South Texas. With temperatures still unseasonably hot, fall sure seems far away. But October may come sooner than expected if you're one of the hundreds of athletes gearing up for the 2009 Bike MS Valero Ride to the River. Whether you're a first-time participant or a veteran to the course, we've got all the details you need to know to prepare for this year's race, and most importantly, the nonprofit organization that benefits from your participation. MS stops people from moving, and the National Multiple Sclerosis Society exists to make sure that doesn't happen. So joining us now to tell us more about how you can help in their efforts are Stephen High, a cyclist, Chris Shaw, a cyclist. Both are committee co-chairs, as well as Cindy Rodriguez, the director for the Lone Star chapter. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, good morning.
Let's talk about this race. For folks who perhaps are not familiar, you know, San Antonio, very famous, of course, for the rock and roll half marathon and marathon that takes place. But if you're more of a cyclist enthusiast, there's this wonderful option for you as well. Who wants to start? Tell me about Bike MS.
Well, I'll tell you, you know, a lot of people do call it a race, and the only real race that I think that we all know we have is the race to end MS. And it's really a ride, and there's people from all different levels that participate. People who just got a bike last week or next week, or when you join up and, you know, after you see this. And there's people that, you know, I guess do race bicycles, but more importantly, it's a ride, and you know, it's about 72 miles over the first day.
Quite the ride.
Yeah, it's a great
72
challenge.
miles.
I think a lot of people join up for a physical challenge first, and then start to really learn about MS. And of course, there's plenty of people who have somebody or know somebody that's afflicted with MS, and then they join for that reason or cause. But you know, it's definitely a physical deal that they're trying to do and accomplish, and then they start to realize all the benefits of it, not only to themselves but to the community.
Right, absolutely. In fact, Cindy, as the Lone Star, you know, chapter director, for our viewers at home who perhaps may not be too familiar with what MS is, what can you tell us in terms of just trying to set the record straight and make sure that the education is out there for people informationally?
Sure. MS affects people in the prime of their life between the ages of 20 and 50. And MS stops the flow of MS stops the flow of information from the brain to different body parts. So you can have symptoms ranging from numbness to tingling to what we call the MS hug. And so there are many different symptoms that they feel throughout the I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. Well, I'm just taking a look at your website. It's my understanding that approximately 20,000 Texans alone are impacted or have been diagnosed with MS. So we're talking about a huge, you know, population just within our own state directly affected by this. So, Steve, as you know, a committee chair and someone who's been a part of the ride for quite some time, how did something like this even get started? How does one sort of connect the dots between going on this, what starts out as a 72-mile ride for the first leg, and is actually a 2-day event, and we'll get more into that in just a second, but how does this ride directly benefit those 20,000 some people we're talking about?
That's a great question. So I got into it, I think, like some of our riders. My wife has been diagnosed with MS. She was diagnosed in 2000.
Okay.
And she is living a great life now because of the research dollars and the programs that come directly from the fundraising in this event. So I got involved, like Lance says, it's not about the bike. I got involved to ride and to raise money for the MS Society. Started in 2001, I've ridden every year, and those people who've ridden in the past that have ridden in something called the MS 150, that's what this ride is. It's now known as the Ride to the River. And despite you thinking 72 miles is a long way, and it is a long way, it's a shorter day one route than we've ever had before. This is going into the 20th year, and we've got a 100-mile option for those guys that want to ride a century ride. But we've also got the 72-mile option to entice the shorter rider out there.
And we want to take a look now, not only, Steve, at your shirt, but also if we can pan out and include Chris's shirt. Now, Chris, I understand you're wearing the old ride shirt.
Yeah, this is actually a top fundraiser jersey from a couple of years ago, and you know, we've kind of realized, you know, working on the co-chair piece of this, is that a lot of people out there in the community, there's a lot of confusion out there.
Okay.
There's the MS 150, there's the bike to the beach, and so all of those things are this same exact ride that we're talking about. It's not multiple different rides.
Okay.
And so we changed the Bike to the Beach. This will be the first year that we're calling it the Ride to the River.
Okay.
We changed the route for a number of different reasons. And then nationally, the organization has changed the MS 150 tagline to Bike MS.
Okay.
And so there are actually 3 of these events in the state. And the one in Houston is the largest organized bike ride in the U.S.
Wow, and we're taking a look at video right now. This is a 2-day event. So as for the now Ride to the River, which is what this ride is now being called, it starts right here in San Antonio. Tell us a little bit about the route. We'll take a look at video, and then we'll also pull up the map. So for you viewers at home who are considering this, we wanted full disclosure here, exactly what you're getting yourselves into. And again, keep in mind, not only an opportunity to get out and get active, but this is also for such a great cause. So tell us a little bit about starting, stopping, everything in between.
No, this is great. So we tried to change the route to take in a lot more of this part of Texas. So we're going to start downtown at the Alamo Dome for a great start. And by the way, that venue is going to be open all weekend for a ride in October.
Okay.
We depart there and head out towards Seguin, and I'm going to give you just the highlights. You can see the map.
Okay.
We'll continue from Seguin up towards New Braunfels for an overnight in Schlitterbahn. And that route is about 72 miles. I mentioned the extension to get the Century Ride. If you want the 100 miles, you go up River Road up to Sattler, just a beautiful tree-lined ride along the river. It's gorgeous. And then we'll overnight at New Braunfels at Schlitterbahn, have a great celebration there. And for some people, that might be the whole event. They might choose to do a one-day event, and that's great. We'd love to have that level of participation. For those coming back, we'll ride back down a very similar route, but we have a slightly different route to give you a different view, coming back down into San Antonio, past the Alamo, and into the Alamo Dome for a great finish.
And for those of you who are looking at this route map at home and just absolutely need to participate, let's put up the event information as well so that you can mark this down on your calendars. We're talking about the weekend of Saturday, October 3rd through the 4th, or as you just heard Steve mention, if you're a one-day type of participant, do not let that hesitate or keep you from registering for this event. In fact, speaking of registration, which you can do online at bikemstexas.org, we want to mention a special that's going to be taking place through Labor Day. And Cindy, tell us a little bit more about that.
We're actually rolling back the registration to $40. It's currently $60. So you want to register now and go to bikemstexas.org.
See, we've even got recession-proof registration prices, folks. There is no reason for you not to participate in this year's Bike MS. Now, Steve, Chris, you guys have both biked in the past. Have you had an opportunity to do it yet, Cindy?
I have not. I did buy a bike this year. I'm a beginner rider. I've ridden 5 whole miles.
And yet you guys are saying, if you are a beginner rider, I mean, do not let that in any way faze you. Everyone is welcome, all levels of, physical fitness or bike expertise.
That's absolutely right. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It really, truly is one of the most well-supported events you will ever attend. And many people don't realize they can ride for 10, 15 miles, and there's a break point that's fully supported. Volunteers come out from all over these communities that will be passing through, and they'll be standing there to hold your bike while you take a rest or grab some more water or Gatorade. And it's amazing because it becomes a bit of a challenge to yourself. Okay, well, I can make it to another 10 miles before I stop, but there's so much support out there. It's not go hop on a bike and you've got to ride 72 miles without stopping by any means. I'm not sure I know anybody who goes and does that, but it's very, very well supported. And if you feel like you can't make the whole 72, there's plenty of what are called support and gear vans. Hop in a van, somebody will take your bike to the finish in Schlitterbahn, and you start enjoying that area.
Every little bit helps. Let's quickly, we only have a few seconds here. What is the goal this year in terms of what you guys are trying to raise?
It's a great question. We hope to have 3,500 cyclists out there. We're well on our way for that on registrations, and we're looking to raise somewhere around $2.1 million. We're well on the way to that.
And all of that research, again, goes to supporting the MS research that takes place just on a daily basis throughout the year. This is the big event, but this is how you can participate.
That's exactly right. So the research dollars go right, honestly, a big chunk of it comes back into San Antonio, into some medical research right here. We also have support programs for those who are newly diagnosed, and just to reach out and help them get supported.
All right, thank you so much, Chris,
Thank
Steve,
you.
Cindy.
Thank you.
And don't forget, for the very latest information, in case you didn't scribble things down fast enough, you can always log on to KVB.com, click on web links. Your community calendar is coming right up.